The meeting of the Groseal Municipal Airport Commerce Park Commission meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the next item is roll call. Chairman Moran is excused. Rathel is here. Mans is excused. Filarski.
Here.
Hornby.
Here.
Loftus.
Here.
Nadu.
Here.
Next item is approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or deletions of the agenda?
Mr. Raisel,
Yes.
I would like to add on an approval of a lease agreement, as I think we're going to end up changing it as approval item number 3.
Okay, so action item
Number 3,
number 3 right
Will
now is
be
approval of
removed.
Island Athletics roof repair.
we don't have any budget item from Molnar Roofing. So we
So-
will have to remove that.
So item number 3 is recommended to be removed and replace it with something, you said?
An approval of a lease agreement for Mr. Michael Mullen.
Molin?
Correct.
Okay, is there any other additions or deletions?
This to be in one motion, removal and replacement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so does anybody want to make the,
I'll second. Okay, I move that we replace action item number 3 and drop that off the agenda, and replace it with the,
lease approval for Mr. Molin? Okay, does anybody want to second that?
Second it.
Okay, so the motion was Mr. Loftus, and second is Mr. Nadu. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so the agenda is amended. The next item on the agenda is presentations. So Janelle, do you have a presentation?
Yep. I can do that now. Start this over.
Janelle, do you want to tell everybody what your presentation is, since it's not on the agenda?
So I am making a presentation on our budget this year for the 2024 budget, annual budget. So just a quick overview.
Go ahead.
Just a quick overview. We're going to be discussing the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. There is no anticipated changes for the rental increase for any of the hangars this year. All expenses are budgeted based on any previous year's trends and year-to-date actuals, including the budget used for the retained earnings. The employee costs, benefits are provided by the financial director, and then the operating transfer, which we'll get into, is also numbers provided by the financial director. So, in reference to the Brownfield Authority summary of revenues, the one thing to note here is that our property tax capture is higher than any the previous years. The capturing taxes are based on both real and personal property taxes. So you can use the expenditure, or the Brownfield Authority, to cover any eligible expenses. So you will notice as I go through this, the two expenses we'll see are the professional services and the administration expenses. So under the admin expenses, it's $25,000 was an estimated expense for increase in Commerce Park administrative cost, which is an eligible cost under the Brownfield financial law, which you guys have in front of you.
Janelle, if I could just interrupt.
Go
And
ahead.
the reason it's never shown up before like that is we never had enough money in the brownfield to pay anything out of. Or now with the 170,000, and that'll continue into the future.
Thank you, Pirates Cove.
Thank you,
Correct.
Pirates Cove.
Thank you. And you'll notice that if you look at the summary for our budgeted expenses last year, we didn't budget enough for the professional services because you never know what's going to pop up with lead-based paint, asbestos, permits, infrastructure systems. These are all eligible expenses that we can use per brownfield monies. This year, a lot of the brownfield was used for the development across the street for the Doggy Hotel.
Janelle, excuse me. So I think it's important to tell the public that the Brownfield Authority is a separate entity than the Commerce Park Commission.
That's correct.
So the authority operates differently in the rules and laws. And we have a Brownfield Authority that was formed here 20-plus years ago. And it's an interesting concept, and it's helped a lot of different properties be remediated. And it's helped us a lot here over the years. It's funded through capturing of taxes, all right, within the Brownfield Authority. So any leasee that we have, a business here that pays property taxes in our district, which is the airport, not elsewhere in the community, we get a percentage of those taxes as the Brownfield Authority, not the Commerce Park Commission, as the
As
authority.
the brownfield.
The only reason that we're talking about the Brownfield right now is because the Brownfield Authority members are the members of the Commerce Park
Correct.
Commission, okay? So we're talking about right now a budget for something different than the Commerce Park.
Correct.
And it's important that everyone knows this, right? So,
Very good
all right,
explanation.
thank you. Go ahead.
Very good explanation.
Tax increment financing. TIF, tax increment
I was
financing.
going to say, TIF. So that is the only reason I'm bringing it up. And one of the reasons you're going to see I'm bringing it up is because there is a transfer as an expense here on the Brownfield Authority that will show up as a revenue on the Commerce Park. So you guys good there? So the overall Airport Commerce Park revenue and expenditure summary, which you'll see in front of you, the revenues total $1.79 million and the expenditures are the same. A difference of $640,000, which we'll get into as we continue.
So, I mean, if I could interrupt, I ran through the the airfield section so far, and yeah, I can't come up with the 791,000 that we have there for revenue. You know, we've got the 322 coming in from reserves, but nothing else to make up the difference. So it looks like we're off quite a bit there, 300,000.
304,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
So, the numbers that we operate the airport with, they're not they're estimated revenue, but they're projected revenue based upon very good data, because we know who our tenants are, we know where our revenue is coming from. We have leases, right? We do have some variable data if something happens, if Janelle is able to get activities that happen here at the airfield that brings in revenue for us that we didn't account for. But we have been very successful for many years with the business model of maintaining the facility without taxpayer funding, either at a local, state, or federal level. And we do it based upon realistic revenue projections. We don't inflate our revenues if we have a year of higher expenses. We base our expenses on realistic revenue. And since we are a government agency, we're legally bound, just like everybody in the township. All the different departments in the township budget has to be balanced. We have to legally approve a balanced budget. And we do that same thing here. So what has happened is, in this presentation that we have, the revenue projections were not put into our budget from the Commerce Park Commission as of yet, all right, because we're just looking at this, right, and we need to make a recommendation and push it forward to the township board to approve our budget along with every department's budget. So right now, we're looking at an unrealistic revenue, right, of whatever it is. It doesn't matter, but this is why we're here talking about this. And I want to continue, even though that number needs to change to a realistic revenue, right, Janelle?
Correct.
Because there's a lot of other line items in our budget that we all need to understand why they're there, right? And what our position is moving forward. The budget, because it is a budget based upon realistic revenues and expenses, and we have to generate revenue higher than our expenses, right? We have to keep our expenses lower, so at the end of the year, what is called retained earnings in a normal scenario in the government, we call profit, right? So, and that's how we can invest back into the airfield. So we need to generate a profit every year, and to do that, we need realistic revenues, and then match our expenses to that and manage it. So let's move on from this, knowing that our revenues need to be changed in our budget that we present to the township board, David. But let's go through what the proposals are, right? Because there's some things in there that are different, right? We have retained earnings from last year coming into this year's budget.
Correct.
To do maintenance items. We need to understand that.
Correct.
Right? We have increased salaries, right?
Correct.
We have some changes in our financing of who in the township is going to be managing our airport financials with you,
Correct.
that we have to address in a way that, we'll figure out. So all these things are in this budget, and we all need to understand how they all interplay, so that at the end of the year, we don't have a negative loss, we have a positive profit.
Correct.
Okay? So
Correct.
are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Mr. Hornby, are you okay with that?
Yes.
Mr. Loftus? Mr. Nadeau?
Yes.
Okay, so with that then, let's just get into,
The nuts and bolts.
yes.
Okay, ready?
Okay, yep,
All right, let's nuts and bolts.
thanks, Janelle.
The-
Is your presentation going to be bigger than this?
What do you mean bigger?
I can't see anything on the screen.
Put
You need your other glasses.
Put your glasses on. You know what? You do have a PDF copy in front of you,
I do?
John.
Oh, where? Oh,
I'm doing hard copy. Same thing.
Everyone should have a PDF copy. I tried to make it bigger.
this it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's bigger.
Well, that's, those are the six.
I mean, I think that's
Just-
at least 6-point type.
Keep
All
going.
right, go ahead,
Keep going.
I think you did that on purpose.
So go to page 4. No, I did not do that on purpose.
That's the easier one to read.
Yeah, thank you.
Go to-
We got the same
Go to
information
page,
on 3 different sheets here.
Yeah, all
start
right.
on page 4, and now we're on page 5. They are numbered.
Okay, yes, thank you, Mr. Loftus.
Thank you, Janelle.
You're welcome. Projected fuel revenues were actually down last year because we did have a huge taxiway project that affected our overall sales. But based on the trends from previous years and with an estimated increase in sales based on new aircrafts that are actually based here, they're a little larger aircraft, they'll take more fuel. This is an estimated budget for fuel farm revenues.
One thing, Janelle, if anybody on the commission has a question, just feel free, we'll
This
just
is an-
exchange, okay?
Correct.
So just,
Open
no,
forum.
just open
Open
right
forum.
up directly to Janelle, okay?
I'll just note that, I'll note it now, that the Skycrane will be here on Wednesday. And they're anticipated to buy quite a bit of fuel, but kind of cool. Okay, sorry, side note. You'll notice for the fuel farm expenditures, the part-time salary for the FBO, the staff that we hire over there is taken out of our expenditures here, which, as you'll see, all their health benefits, their FICA, the workers' comp, comes out of the fuel farm expenses. Credit card expenses is just a little bit of an increase based on last year. No other changes in the professional services, gas, fuel. One thing you'll notice is there is an increase about 8% for insurances and bonds. It's divided up between all 3 categories. Fuel farm, airport, and commerce park. Sales tax is just a fixed cost. The operating transfers out to the airport, which is that number of the 7,300.
which represents the profit from the fuel farm. And that's transferred over to the airfield. Page 7.
Which would be the 266 minus, anyway, we'll come back to that. The revenue for the airfield is pretty much the same as previous years. Not expecting any big changes for the revenue on the fuel farm, approximately, not including the operating transfers in. And then the previous retained earnings of the $151,000, it's approximately about a $7,000 increase in revenue increase from the airfield. The one thing to note under the previous year retained earning for the airfield, the capital improvements, this is coming out of the retained earnings, is going to be for the T-hanger painting, the landscaping, which you'll see in the expenditures, the skylight repair in hangar 1, and then a scissor lift, which you'll see coming up. Miscellaneous income, as we know, is generated from special events, weddings, photo shoots. And then there's that operating transfer in. Big notice here is the conversation, the compensation for the salaries for the full-time. You'll notice that airfield takes on 70%, the commerce part's 30%. So that number is divided up between the two different departments areas.
Okay, Janelle, let's tackle this
Yep,
right now, okay?
just tackle it right now.
So,
So if you go to that 6 point,
well,
it'll break that down a little bit.
let's first explain to everybody that we have one budget, but 2 categories within our budget. We have airfield and we have commerce
Commerce
park. So for full-time salaries, we split 70-30, 70 for airfield and 30 for Commerce Park, correct?
Correct.
So if we go to, if we go to page 12, okay, just go from page 8 to page 12. You'll see the first line item there, full-time salaries, that's 30%.
Correct.
So in this budget, for full-time salaries, if we add the 151, 127 from page 8 and the 64,769 from page 12, we have a total full-time, and this is minus benefits,
Correct.
of $215,896. If we look at that compared to last year's budget combined was $147,456. Okay, which is an increase of $68,440. So the reason that this is in here is for, there's a couple reasons why there is a $68,440. Let's tackle the easy one, right? So we have our maintenance person, Frank, who is due for a raise. That's a union position, and he gets bumped up into that category of what the next pay is. That is in this budget. We have I believe, a 3% cost of living increase that is across all managers.
Yep.
Is that correct?
2.5.
Oh, 2,
5.
2.5.
Yeah, because
Two.
3 would be too much, right?
CPI.
Okay.
The CPI
I'm
was
sorry.
over
I had to-
3% this year.
I don't set the number.
So we have 2.5% of increase.
Increase across
for
the board.
Janelle.
Well, okay.
And we have a proposed, I believe, we have to talk about this, but I believe in this, there is another $10,000 salary increase for Janelle. Is that correct, Janelle, this budget?
Correct, not totally.
Okay.
If you look at the increase of the 2.5 and the proposed, it's over $10,000.
Yeah, it's 10 plus the, yes.
Correct,
No, that's-
okay.
yeah.
CPI.
I just want to make sure that that's
Yeah,
understood.
no,
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry if yeah,
Like-
come on, Janelle, you know me
All
better
right,
than
I'm
that.
just,
Full disclosure.
I mean, I
I'm
just
just-
argued for 0.5% for everybody, right? So,
okay, I'm just,
So in this, there is a 2.5%, boom, and then on top of that, there's a $10,000 for Janelle. So if you take that and put those together, which would be, let's say, $17,000, quick math.
probably someplace near there, yeah.
Okay, let's just use $17,000. And you take that away from the 64,769, right? Now you have 49, 40,
That's your other maintenance guy.
Well, we're not there yet.
yeah.
The other maintenance guy we haven't talked about
But we
yet.
have two maintenance guys. in
Correct,
this,
but we're
right?
just talking about the increases
Yeah,
of salary.
we're just talking about increases of salary.
Correct, we haven't mentioned the other two yet.
So let's say that we have 68. $440. That's 17. We have $51,440 roughly that's not accounted for what we just talked about. That number roughly is for a new person, a totally new person that's in his budget for a full-time addition to the airport.
That would be 50, what'd you say, 50 grand?
51,440.
Like 48. It doesn't
I
matter,
said
right?
roughly, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what I think, I do not want to talk here about whether or not we need that position or not, okay? Everyone has their opinions. Financially, I understand it financially very, very well. But I would not feel comfortable presenting this budget to the township board that has a $50,000 full-time regular employee added to the airfield. I understand that we don't have to fill it, right? It's like, but I think that if we pass a budget that has a full-time person in it, it's going to be hard. I can see it now when they're trying to force us to have that person, and we go, well, no, we didn't want to fill it. Well, why'd you pass the budget? So what I propose, I don't want to change the numbers, okay? I don't want to like lower anything. I would just like to move that 51,000 roughly into the category of salaries part-time. If we do that, the monies would be there if we ever had to do it. Now, there's no doubt that we've got to add an expense this year that we didn't have last year because Karen downstairs is working her tail off. She's overburdened. She does the things for Janelle financially, and she just can't continue to do it. She can't. And she's been just a godsend to us, but we're at the end of that, right? So we need to get that taken care of. And how we do that, we don't know yet, okay? But it's not a full-time job, right? What Karen does for us is not a full-time job. So there will be a need for us to have some money in the budget to be able to address, that service, right? So if you got, I want everyone to, this is a time that you got to say your piece on this, okay? I would like to see that that amount of roughly $50,000 just drop down. We can eliminate summertime, which is in parentheses under page 8 and page 12, divide it 70-30.
How, we can't, the part-time is for seasonal help.
Part-time's part-time.
Okay, all right. You're saying eliminate the word summertime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure that we know we
Eliminate
are.
the restriction to
We
summertime.
have seasonal help that we need, right?
Yeah, I mean, but that's part-time, right?
Correct.
Right.
Nope, fine, fair enough.
Okay, so take that number, and it could be the 51 for just so these numbers add up because,
Whatever the appropriate number is, just drop it down into part-time.
Fair enough.
yeah. So that's what I suggest, and what say you, Mr. Hornby?
I agree. Gives us the dollar latitude without tying it into a particular position.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's also other costs here that, go along with that, like the health insurance
Yeah,
costs.
right,
So
right.
we would obviously have to pull some of that back out too.
Correct.
So that'll boost that number a little bit.
Correct.
But, I think at the end of the day, we don't really want to spend that money because we've got big projects coming up, mainly the 1735 reconstruction project, and I'd rather see this expense, really be accrued, for paying that in the future, so yeah, I completely agree, though. I mean, if this is a way that we can budget it and make this work, then I I'm on board.
Mr. Loftus?
Conceptually, it's probably our best means going forward. It gives us flexibility, make decisions as they arise.
Mr. Treasurer?
I'm okay with it. I mean, I see no reason, see nothing to preclude it, because if, if circumstances change and we do need to go with an employee, you move it back from part-time,
Yeah.
and we probably will need more part-time, certainly in the short run, to replace Karen.
Right.
Then it's there to put back
Right.
if we want to go with a true full-time.
Yeah, or it gives us the flexibility to pursue another option. Maybe somebody could do it,
Right.
Yeah,
part-time, or,
like,
but it gives us options.
I would not want to see it pulled completely from the budget,
No.
Right.
No.
because it's
I think it's in the
easier
right
to
place
put
for
it in
now.
and not use it
Yeah.
than it is to take it out and then try to get it
Try to
added
read
back in.
into
Putting it
later.
in and not using it is how we make money around here.
I understand.
Debate it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so, side note, I just realized that I have my,
Your readers?
my wife's glasses, and man.
They look good on you.
That's like,
They're pretty.
kind of, I'm thinking that this is the new John Rathel.
Yeah.
I look like,
Do it all along.
I look like, almost-
Fashion
Not
trend.
turning on you, honest.
oh, man, I look financially astute in these glasses, I can tell you. All right, so that is done, okay?
Well, yeah, I mean, just want to point that out, that Gene's position he is retiring. So we are going to have an adjustment in the full-time for that position of Gene's airport maintenance position. So we will have an adjustment there.
Well, but our,
Well-
I'm sure we're gonna replace him with the same salary.
However, the one thing I just want to point out is Gene does opt out for the health insurance. So there might be an adjustment there. We all need to
Well,
just
I-
make
those
a
adjust-
modification for
Those
that.
adjustments, where they fall, they fall.
I understand. I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that.
Yeah.
Just because it is what it is.
I tried to tell Gene today that he couldn't retire, and he just laughed at me.
Yeah.
He's done a great job, I'm telling you.
I'm
All right,
set.
go ahead,
The Three
Janelle.
Stooges are. So is everybody clear on salary?
Yep.
Everybody okay? We can move forward on that now? Where are we?
Page 9.
We are on page, oh, we're skipping right over, huh?
Well, no, I do have a question
No.
on professional services, and we
Uh,
have a increase of $5,000.
The on-call services are increasing for our engineering company, and I didn't want to not have enough in there. So we might be over budgeted on that, but I also didn't want to have an option with having the availability to talk to them about certain things, whether it be trees or whatever, anything that's not related to a project is
Yeah.
a cost that comes out of our pocket at the end of the day.
Okay,
Okay, but I didn't want to be in a situation where we don't budget enough for it. That's how we make our money, right? Drains, demos, cleanup. We were over last year. I just don't want to be in a situation where we have a sinkhole and we don't budget for it, which is going to be mixed out throughout the budget. The retained, the special fees for the bidding process. We've kind of gone through, I think the only bid process we'll be going through will be the painting of the T-hangers. I think might be the only thing outside of the Commerce Park, which you'll see it, which accommodates for the roof over at Island Athletics. The administrative expenses may go down a smidge, but not much. Insurance and bonds, there's that 8% increase across the board, which I mentioned earlier. Building runways, all those are pretty standard costs. The GCO is decommissioned. We no longer have an expense for that. You'll notice that this is where the T-hanger, the $80,000 that came from the retained earnings for our capital improvement for the T-hangers is mentioned there.
Is that
And-
enough?
When I was getting the estimates, they were like anywhere from like $70,000 for all three, 80 at most.
So all four sides of all,
We were just going to
Thanks.
do two sides. We're
Why?
just doing the south side. Because that's what people see when they fly in. Really? I'm sorry.
This isn't a Hollywood set here.
You know
okay?
what? I'm sorry. I had to.
No, I
Yes.
liked it. but-
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it didn't sound like that. Not the worst idea I've ever heard.
I liked your reasoning. I
Sold it
mean,
pretty
you know,
good for a minute.
Pardon?
Sold it pretty good for a
I
minute.
did.
yeah. Let me tell you something. I've been working with her like very closely for the last almost 3 years, and this is the first time she actually got me.
Anyway, sorry. Yes.
Can't we do all this, all sides, all sides?
We can do all four sides.
What say you?
I love it.
You love
It's,
what?
all four sides. Let's get this done.
That's going to be a project. But anyways,
You're serious about two sides?
no, I'm not serious about
Well, wait a minute. Now you got me, Janelle. You're getting too good at this, okay? So
yes, all right.
why is $70,000 seem low to me?
When I got the estimates, they, like I said, they were like $55,000 to like $70,000
On all four sides?
on all four
My
sides. and
gosh, you
Alpha
got
Bravo
me. I
Charlie.
owe you now. Thank you.
Yes, all four sides.
It does seem light because I
It
mean, we've got all
does,
that,
but-
we got all that rust on the bottom that's got to be treated.
They came out last over in the fall. I had them come out just to get an idea, and I was very specific. I said, "Look, this is still going to have to go out for a bid, but I don't know
Barbie,
what
what do
to
you think
budget
about that number?
if I don't." Do you want me to increase it?
Well, let's see. What does Mr. Hornby say?
I have no reason to doubt it, you know? It's pretty easy labor. It's
Is
a
it-
lot of surface, but it's pretty,
This is exterior only?
Yeah.
Yes.
a lot of surface area, but not a lot of obstacles or a lot.
A lot of material though.
Paint the spray can.
Paint's expensive, but I mean, I can increase that
we're gonna
number,
get out there
but
and
that
ask.
was the number they gave me or whatever.
If that's what
Was
you
that
got.
the exact number, or did you buff it up?
I buffed it up a little.
Okay, you're good with the number?
I'm fine with it.
All right, it just,
I mean, it could be like the fence where we think it's a number that we budget and it's, twice as much.
well, if it could be
Don't say
that. Okay.
I mean, who thought that
You
that
give your
was,
opinion on this.
I know what happens if we don't maintain them. So yes, paint will keep the rust gods away for a while, which brought me back to my question I brought about, how about the inside of the hangars? The structural members inside that are rusting or showing surface rust at least.
I did not budget for that.
That's next year.
That's, okay,
So you think 70,000 is good? That's the question.
if that's the bid she got or the estimate she got.
Yeah. So everybody's on record except me saying that $70,000 is okay. Okay.
That means John thinks it's gonna be more.
Well, this might be the time to move more into it.
No, everyone's good. I don't want to.
I mean, if we move more into it, it just has that same theory of,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, it's my gut feeling. It's like knowing what things cost, $70,000 to paint all of our T hangers.
I don't disagree.
All four
It sounds
sides.
light. But
Can we move some more in or no?
yeah,
up
I
to
mean, we can move more in. I
If
mean,
we
it's
don't
just
spend
pulling
it-
from,
if we
if we
don't
don't spend it, we don't spend it.
Right.
It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
that's right.
So what number?
What's the number?
And we do
Another
know
20?
that the other budgeted item may be less. So there's that. But anyways,
I'll make,
what do we,
Recommend-
90?
yeah.
do another 20.
Do another 20, keeping in mind that if we don't need it for the outside, we are gonna find structural issues on the inside that
The I-beams
we'll
and
have, we'll
whatnot.
have dollars to address.
Fair enough.
Could be like,
Lifters.
we could get in a situation where they're there, they see something, and they go, you know what, we can do this real cheap if you want us to do it now, right?
Because they're already mobilized, they have their
Right, so-
equipment, they're.
So do another 20,
So 90,
yeah.
do we agree?
Yes.
Okay. David?
That's,
You
fi-
good?
yeah, that's fine.
So the maintenance on the vehicles, even $10,000 is more than what we've been, that's what I budgeted for, but being that we have two amazing maintenance staff, we no longer outsource that. So it is a reduction in cost.
Which vehicles are those?
They're our tractors, our trucks, our
Okay.
vehicles, oils, dump truck,
Okay, I gotcha.
tractor, blades,
Okay. It's all of you. Yeah, I was
yeah.
thinking courtesy cars and
No, like our bat wing that cuts the grass, we need to
Gotcha,
replace
okay.
the blades, our plows, our dump
Got it, thank you.
trucks. Yeah. The bad debt expense, obviously that number is up because of the fluctuation in the revenue, so we may see that go down. We left that the same, but we did increase that per one of our last meetings, that we would increase it on the Commerce Park side, not on the airport side.
now don't we have one big write-off that's pending now?
Correct.
So it looks like it exceeds that amount that's budgeted, and that would happen.
If we wait that long to go through the eviction process, right? I mean, we waited almost a year
Yeah.
to evict them because it was during the, transition. But that would exceed it, yes. Construction costs, so we're gonna go back to moving money from the retained earnings for the landscaping, which will be for the landscaping outside for the bar restaurant that John is patiently waiting for.
Patiently, no.
Okay,
Waiting,
I-
yes.
Pardon?
Patiently, no. Waiting, yes.
Okay. Well, you've been pretty patient. The skylight windows in hangar 1, I know we just had the roof done, but if we want to keep the structure of those skylights that are up there, there's quite a bit. I did have an estimate of $17,000 to recaulk those. The scissor lift purchase, which will be a used purchase of $20,000. Computer network that was increased, just normal expenses this year. 5,000. We're not doing any purchases of computers. We bought those last year. Safety and tools stays about the same. The general, the mortgage that we have with the township, that's the same. The installment loan for the $455,000 is for the replacement of the roof, which we will see now until, 2034.
Tell the cows come home. What my grandma used to say.
Well, the cows come home.
Amazing how fast 10 years goes by.
Well, I mean, the good news is that there's only 2029, we'll be done with the payment for the other one. By then, inflation will continue and we'll get eaten up that way. The administration service fee, this is the $25,000 that was carried over from the brownfield for that eligible expense. I'll ask the question now, or is everyone good with leaving that in there?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Greg?
Yes.
Okay. Revenue is pretty much the same. You'll see, roughly, $31,000 increase in our revenue for the Commerce Park. We've addressed the salaries. Would you like to divide the salary up in the Commerce Park expense, the $68,000 earlier discussed, for the part-time position versus the summer staff? Did you guys want to divide that up in some form? Or are you okay with it in just one
I'm fine with just part-time.
Leave it, yeah,
One pot.
yep,
pot?
yep.
Okay. So airport pot? The airport side? Okay. Overtime is pretty much the same. You'll notice the retiree healthcare of the 5,000 is budgeted separately this year. It's just been divided out. It was in the budget before. It's just a different line item. The drains demo cleanup, increase of $5,000 for that, just because those pop up all the time. The engineering is the cost that we talked about for our engineer for the drains, roof repairs. Who knows if I need to consult Ohio. More of the Commerce Park expenses. Not a big thing that you're going to see except for the construction cost for the tennis center roofs repairs, which was pulled also over from the retained earnings earlier. And then the loan payments. And then there's that operating transfer out. And you guys were able to look at these. Did you guys have questions? John's calculating numbers over there.
I'm fine.
Okay. And that's really it. Couple of goals this year. I'd like to complete the bar restaurant on the east side of Hangar 1. That is a goal of mine. Close out the land use. I do want to wrap up the tree removal obstructions on airport property. We are in process. We did remove the Phragmites down here that we were required to remove. Hopefully those have made a difference. Obviously, we have the trees that we started the removal process down on the corner of Grow and East River. We do have a few more to remove on that. In tonight's packet, you'll see, obviously I did these goals a while ago, but in tonight's packet, which we'll get to, you'll see that I wanted to do a pricing sheet for the FBO, which is basically the rates and charges. Increase merchandise, continue with Phragmite treatments, which will be in July, I think is the next treatment for that. Obviously, continued our efforts with MDOT for the reconstruction process of 1-7, paint the T-hangers, and then one of the things I'd like to have completed is the seal and paint markings for 422, and obviously continue preventative maintenance on both properties, Commerce Park and Airport. And then continue building relationships with MDOT and FAA. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Janelle, good job as always. Does anybody have any questions on our budget?
Proposed budget.
Our proposed budget, yes. So what we need to do, Janelle,
Yeah.
is get the realistic revenues put into this proposed budget, okay? And get that out to everybody ASAP, because Mr. Nadeau, you have a study session or a public hearing on the budget, or what's going?
Public hearing on the budget is Thursday evening.
So Thursday. So I'd like to have this tied down
Yeah.
for that. Even though we don't need to have it. it
I
would be-
understand.
If it's possible. I don't want to. And then, Janelle, I think that what you'd have to do, I know that pretty much everybody here, and I know Chris Manns and Ron Moran are very intimate with the budget, as everybody here. So it's going to be pretty quick, I would say, once everybody gets the budget with the realistic revenue projection, everybody would be able to feel comfortable saying, I'm good with it, right? With all this stuff, right? So if you do that and get it to everybody, I think that you could just call everybody and say, yeah, I'm good with that, okay?
Okay.
Because
I can handle that.
the only way that we would be able to officially approve it is if we had another meeting, right, David? You can't just prove it on the phone or have a,
No.
meet at, how many pair of glasses do you have on, man? Wow, looking at you, it's like two.
One to live my life, another to read the small print.
I'm looking at you going, it's like, but I don't think that we need to have a formal approval.
I think
To-
we
to-
can provide Janelle with consensus, which is different than a vote, but consensus is like reply by exception. If the majority of us did not approve, we could call a special meeting vote. But if she has consensus, she knows she can go forward without obstruction
Yeah.
or
And we don't have time to call
retraction
another
from us.
meeting.
And we don't have time to call another meeting, so I'm okay with that. David, are you okay with that?
I'm fine.
Brian, you good with
We have
that?
consensus, I
Daryl?
believe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Greg? Okay. Okay, so any other presentations? No? All right, so the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes, and we have 3 meetings of minute approvals. So, with all this budget paperwork
Yeah,
here, I
fills up the
don't have
table
my,
back
oh, here they are.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
move for the approval of the January 16th minutes.
Okay, so on the table is a movement of approving the January 16, 2024 Commerce Park Commission minutes. Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
All right, so moved by Mr. Loftus, second by Mr. Nadeau. Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes approved. So, the next minutes are February 5th, 2024. So does anybody want to move that forward for approval or denial?
So moved.
Support. Second.
Okay, so we have moved by Mr. Nadeau and supported by Mr. Loftus. Boy, the left side of me is pretty active today. Come on, guys, on the right. You guys got to pick it up over here. Are there any questions on these minutes? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Minutes of February 5th are approved. The third set of minutes are from a meeting of Tuesday, February 20th, 2024.
So I'll make a motion to approve the February 20th, 2024 minutes.
Second.
Mr. Good job, guys. Mr. Loftus moved approval, and Mr. Hornby seconds. Are any?
I did not move approval.
Mr.
Filarski, there.
Filarski moved this motion, and Mr. Hornby approved it. So are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will, again, abstain as I was not at that meeting.
All opposed, say no. Minutes of February 27th are approved. Okay, so let's get into our financials. This is the meat of it. Our fiscal year ends March 31st, so, no, yes.
Yeah.
We're in April. What month are we in?
We're still in March.
We're still in
Still in
March.
March.
The year is marching down.
Oh my goodness, we are like
Uh-huh.
almost done with this fiscal year. So we look at our financial report, our year-to-date revenues are $1,056,054.61, which is 92% of our projected revenue. Interesting enough, which is pretty interesting enough, which is pretty interesting, that if we look at the year-to-date previous year, last year, we were at $1,039,000. So this just shows us how serious we take our revenue projections, right? Because this is a real number, and we always, every year, we come in right around the same amount, unless we know that we have revenue increases through new leases and so on and so forth. If we look at the expenditures, our year-to-date expenditures are $487, which is 77.29% of our budget. Last year at this time, we were at $891,000. So every year, we are realistic in our revenue, and we manage our expenses to it. And this really shows it well because we're in our last month, right? So we got good comparisons for this month, year-to-date, to last year, year-to-date. We look at our capital reserves, which is our money. This is the number that really matters, so that we do projects like this year, you heard in our budget, we transferred capital reserves as revenue into this coming year's budget to do maintenance, painting, landscaping, things like that. That comes out of our capital reserves, which is profit from our previous years. As of February 29th, we had $740,000 in capital reserves. So that's good. That is good. If we look at our past due rent summary, we're still battling Latis, which has an outstanding balance of $17,000 and some change, and a couple other ones here that are either smaller or being worked out, and as of yet has not been a problem for us. So with that, is there any questions or concerns on our financial report from anyone? Mr. Nadeau?
No, just that I think the Latis is going to be at court on first week in April. Janelle, is it?
April 9th and 8:30. I believe I sent the Zoom link out on that.
That's still on.
So that is still on at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay. Mr. Loftus?
I'm good. Waiting to see what we do on the Zoom. They didn't want to go down to 33rd, huh? Does it cost us less to do it Zoom in terms of legal fees? or-
It's at 33rd.
I thought it was Zoom.
Oh, you mean in person?
Yes,
Oh, no, it's not in person.
that was my
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
Does it
it's-
cost less to do it Zoom?
I
versus
don't think
in
so.
the court?
I doubt it.
So this conversation is in regards to a lawsuit that we filed against Latis LLC, and that's in litigation. Mr. Flarsky, any comments, questions, concerns?
Everything looks good.
And congratulations to Janelle for doing a great job.
Yeah, I think they're in order. I mean, looking at our expenditures this year, I mean, it's impressive that we came in lower than last year, given the environment with inflation. And,
It is incredible. I mean, it's like literally,
spot on.
I mean, I keep saying you guys are the greatest commission on the island, and this is why. You guys manage this place just incredibly well. Mr. Hornby,
I'm good.
you're good?
Impressive.
Okay, so does anyone want to make a motion to approve the financial report for today?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Flarsky.
I will second it.
Oh, second and boy, right and left. I
Yep,
like that.
yep, we're
There's
gonna
like
keep
a
it confusing.
stereo going on here. By Mr. Loftus, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The motion to approve this month's financial report is approved. I need to do a better job of keeping track of my paperwork up here. Here it is. I lost my agenda. And this is why Mr. Moran is the chairman. Okay, so, the next item on our agenda is action items.
Bless you.
So Janelle, do you want to start with our action items and read it in?
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, since they're your recommendations.
Sure. Based upon the recommendation of the Grosse Ile Airport Commerce Park Manager, the Grosse Ile Township Board, look at this, Grosse Ile, I had a typo. Autofill. Based upon the recommendation of the Grosse Ile Airport Commerce Park Manager, the Grosse Ile Commerce Park hereby approves the new rates and charges for the Grosse Ile Municipal Airport beginning April 1st of 2024. In keeping up with inflation and the rates and charges surrounding the other airports, it's essential for us to maintain our sustainability and that our rates are current and up to date to reflect the industry standards.
Okay, so does anybody want to move that motion forward?
I move we
Well, do we want to,
apply the rates, it's per the contract, right? They're all pretty much CPI, and they're all in the individual
This is
contract.
actually for the tie-down fees. So if you flip the page and you look at they're called rates and charges for the tie-down fees. So the daily rate would be $5, weekly 15 for 3,500 pounds or less. I know we kind of talked about this the other, last month or the month before. And
Well, we can talk about it once we get.
Okay, sure, we can do that.
So, you move that?
Move that we, let's see, how is exactly this thing worded?
Rate,
Move we approve the new rates and charges for the Grosse Ile Municipal Airport as of April 1st, 2024.
Yeah, so the motion would be based upon recommendation of the airport, Commerce Park manager, the Grosse Ile
Commerce Park Airport
Commerce
Commission.
Park Commission hereby approves the new rates and charges for the Grosse Ile Municipal Airport as of April 1st, 2024. See attached, which is this year. So you support that right now? Remove
That is
remove
my
that?
motion. Thank you for
That-
reading it for me.
Well, Janelle read it. but-
support?
Okay, no, okay, good. So we have a move and we have a support. I love it.
Now we have discussion.
Now you have discussion. David, any comments?
I'm not familiar with what the going rate is for a daily tie-down.
Well, I know what ours was. It was zero.
It was,
Well-
we didn't have one.
I mean, just on the surface, these just seem low to me.
Yeah.
Were there more than our current ones?
Well,
Well,
that's good.
Let's not divide by zero here.
I mean, it's like, I think $5 is just too low, and if a guy buys 20 gallons of gas, it's waived, so.
Well- That's the current market for,
It's
yeah.
not uncommon.
It's not uncommon for it to be $5.
But $5 a day and 5 times 30 is roughly $150. So for a month.
Well, that's
you're
the
gonna-
amount of our T hangar rental. Or at least hangar one is like
30-day
a,
tie down, right? Go ahead.
May I speak?
yeah, go
Okay.
for it,
All right,
Daryl.
so pretty much, what we have on this sheet here is pretty customary of what you see at, most airports. I think, it's in line, it's very, very reasonable. I like the way this is structured, you've got better rates if somebody's staying for a week, but most of the time when you have somebody, flying in, they're just flying in for the day, $5, they're out of here. If I'm gonna fly somewhere and I'm gonna leave my plane outside for 2 weeks, I'm worried about my plane. So this offers the service to use the hangars, pull it in. So we've got that accounted for. Nobody's going to take a $200,000, $500,000 plane, whatever it is, and just leave it outside.
Oh,
So
okay,
so
all right.
yeah. So I think what you're saying, with this stuff, with these types of with that type of traffic, it's just going to be for the day, and then they're going to go.
Okay.
And the traffic that's going to be more long-term, they're going to be seeking, to pull their planes inside. And I think this makes great use of T-hangar availability if we have it. And this is something that we weren't tapping into previously. So, yeah, I'm all in favor. And,
So the.
as I said, I think
the
this
fees
is...
seem reasonable to you, Daryl.
Yeah, this seems reasonable.
Okay.
I mean, this is not...
I mean, I look at it and I say, okay, $5. If I can get something every day for $5, it's like a deal.
Right. And I think this is, in another way this is in line is, when you have like more of like a resort type destination, they're going to charge more for landing fees. And I mean, but, this is, more of a functional airport. So I think this is very, I think you did a nice job with this, and I think it's reasonable.
Mr. Hornby?
Looks reasonable to me.
Okay, so we have Mr. Loftus moving the motion, Mr. Nadu supporting it.
Yeah.
And we discussed it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. For the first time ever, we have tie-down fees. Janelle loves to get new revenue.
And those they're not enough to drive anyone away.
No.
No, but it,
Let's encourage them to buy fuel, too.
right, and
It's a good,
Yeah.
it
It's
legitimizes us too, to
well-structured.
some
Yeah,
degree.
it's
so.
simple.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is review and approve the 24-25 budget, which we're not going to do today. So, but we still have it on the agenda. We reviewed it. My feeling how to handle this is that because it's an action item that we have to act on it.
nobody moves it, it dies on the vine.
Right, so that's, right. So we have to go through that. We can't just say, well, let's take it off. We have to say, either we move it, we support it, approve it, deny it, or if nobody moves it.
I'll make the motion, and if nobody seconds it, it dies.
Okay, so does anybody want to make a
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Nadu. Is there support? Hearing none, this item is not moved forward.
Right.
And it's
It's a non-vote.
a non-vote. Okay, so action item number 3, we had changed approval of a lease to Mr. Mullen. And Nell,
Do you want me to read it?
nope, it is your recommendation.
Oh, no, you don't want me to read it?
It's your recommendation.
Based upon the recommendation from the Grosse Hill Airport Commerce Park Manager, the Grosse Hill Airport Commerce Park Commission hereby approves the lease with Mr. Michael Mullen.
Okay, does
So,
anybody,
you mind to read through it? Are you okay?
will, when...
Oh, somebody has to move it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
okay.
we got,
As I know Mr. Michael Mullen, I will move that the Grosse Ile Airport Commerce Park Commission hereby approves the lease with Mr. Michael Mullen.
okay, do we have a support?
Support.
Okay, so we have it was moved by Mr. Loftus, supported by Mr. Hornby. So now discussion. Janelle, do you want to get into the nitty-gritty of this?
So, Mr. Mullen approached me a couple of days ago, late last week. He's in the middle of moving places and no longer has the space to illustrate his children's book. So, being that he is not exactly sure about the revenue source that's going to come in for the second children's book, he's asked for a 6-month lease. He is okay with moving to a 1-year. However, he has asked for us to just grant him a 6-month lease, and it will expire on the 30th of 2024. He's happy to extend it for another 6 months, should this book be as successful, which he hopes it will be. This is located on the north side of the FBO, which we do have vacancy, is not on the south side, at $216 a month. So for six months, it's $1,296, approximately $14.40 a square annually.
Janelle, where exactly is this space? Upstairs, downstairs?
Upstairs. We have no vacancies downstairs. So you know where Gina, the purple room, the dance studio used to be?
Yes.
That whole upstairs has been vacant.
Right.
So
So he's going
it's-
into that?
No, he'll be going into the one next to the kitchen. There's a small room next to the kitchen.
And
that's
have we
up there.
done any improvements on that room in the last year?
We have painted that room in the last year
Okay.
and repaired a hole in the wall.
Okay.
We did paint a couple of those rooms, that room and another room.
Right, that's what I thought, we did something over there.
Yep.
Mr. Nadeau, you have any comments and thoughts on that?
No, I'm,
Good. since
sounds
you-
good.
Since you moved
Good for
it.
me.
Mr. Loftus, you still support this? thing?
I still support it.
Mr. Flarsky?
No issue.
Mr. Hornby?
I support.
Okay, so, yeah, I don't have a problem with 6 months. I have a new term in my vocabulary now that I just recently learned, and it's called pop-up businesses. I didn't know what that was. But they're all the rage now, so we now have our first pop-up business here on Grosse Ile. Well, not, I don't know if we have any elsewhere, but at the airport. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. The motion is approved, so congratulations.
Welcome aboard,
to
Mr. Mullen.
Mr. Mullen. And that is good stuff. Okay. So next item on the agenda is discussion items. Does anybody have anything to discuss? No. Managers report. Janelle?
We've discussed Latis. We know that we have a court date on the 9th. We talked about the safety on the airfield. I think that one thing that you'll all notice, that the stacks are down. So that is a good thing for aviation. And I know we talked about that we still do have a few more trees on the Grow Road, which we talked about earlier, and the Phragmites. Just one thing to mention on the tree removal. I have been working with the DPS in order to keep our costs down for the removal of that. So we are aware that those trees are down, and they will be cleaned up. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. Doggy Hotel update. Looks like we're targeting to open, hopefully April sometime. Just a few things that we've been working on. to make sure that we can get the certificate of occupancy for that. You'll notice that we were required to put LED lighting out front for, once again, safety for the parking lot. Just a couple of things. The fire extinguishers have all been updated. We have spoken with the fire marshal, so things are moving along on that, which is exciting. Once again, Skycrane's coming. That'll be exciting. Rock CF was a complete success yesterday morning. Those of you that didn't see the runners, but it was seamless, honestly. As always, they do a great job. I think we're really happy to be a participant of that, as usual. But wow, what a great race it was. And they really did such a nice job. I mean, really little effort on my end, so that was great. Thank you. The 1735 justification, obviously, we know that we're qualified for eligibility for a crosswind. That's just phase one. We have other phases to go through in order for that to move forward. One, getting approval to get the money, right? We have to go through that process. Mid-Michigan, our rental car is available for transient pilots to come in. It is available for residents of Grosse Ile to use. We do only have one car at this time. Now, if there's an increase of activity where we notice that we'll need another vehicle, they will bring it. How it works is you download the app on your phone. It's like, the electric scooters that they have, and I think they have them in Trenton. You literally download an app. It's the coolest thing. So you download the Mid-Michigan app. You walk up to the car. You go through, obviously, you have to give your insurance and your driver's license, valid driver's license. You download the app, you push the unlock button, you get in the car, and you drive away. This is your key. It's really cool. So they handle all the payments, they handle all the insurance requirements, they handle everything. It's just a service that's offered. So we are working with ForeFlight to get it on ForeFlight, so when people are doing their flight planning, it will show up that say that we do offer this rental car services. You'll note, talking to other pilots, like working with Enterprise, Enterprise won't work with us anymore. Hertz won't work with us, and getting people to use a car more than our courtesy car to bebop around the island has been an issue. So that's exciting. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to, I know we talked about Gene's retirement, but he truly, Frank and Gene and I all came in together. We're known as the Three Stooges, so I will miss him dearly. So just want to, if you guys see Gene, thank him for his services, because he's been great. We will miss him.
Yep.
And I think that's it
End
for
of the
me.
month, this is the last day.
Well, technically it's March 31st, which
Okay,
happens
yeah.
to be on a Sunday, so Good Friday is the 29th, I think, so his last day is actually the 28th of March. That's all I have.
So I have a question on the car. I'm assuming that, like a scooter, you can't get in the car here and leave it somewhere and then, take it to at Metro and then just leave it there.
Abandon it.
And just, and then somebody has to pick it up there on their app, and they have
No,
to, they have to
this-
bring it back where
No,
it's at, right?
this is our home,
So if a resident wants to rent the car,
yes,
not a pilot, anybody on the island, if they need a
Correct.
car, they can download the app, whatever, they can contact you and how
Nope.
to do it.
they don't
Know
contact
how
me.
to do it,
Uh,
like what app and so on.
yeah,
You would help them do that, right?
correct, correct.
They could then come and get the car for somebody coming in for a time period that they need an extra car, right?
Correct,
But they can't use the car to go to the airport and leave it at the airport.
correct. So it's picked up here and it's dropped back off here.
Where is it gonna be kept?
It is kept over at the FBO. And there's an actual sign there that says Mid-Michigan Rental Car. It's on the fence already. And so if you walk up to the FBO, there's a sticker and there's a QR code. You can scan the QR code and it'll kind of walk you through the process.
And do we know what type of car it is?
It is a Trex,
A Trex.
yes. It's like a small SUV.
Tracks.
Oh,
Tracks.
Yeah.
Tracks.
Oh,
there-
tracks, okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
All right, yeah.
My daughter
You're
has.
looking
I was
very
gonna say, you know, I
confused.
mean,
All Chevy.
that
Yeah.
kid-
Like a,
yeah.
Chevy.
Don't tricks is what you mean. Dex.
I think it's a nice little car.
Yeah, it will suit.
Hey,
It's a decent-
I think our,
Okay, I'm letting this meeting get totally out of hand. I apologize,
I'll talk to
everybody
you
out
about
there. We're not supposed to have fun. So, any subcommittee reports? Nope. Commission member reports or comments? Greg,
None?
Daryl,
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Loftus?
Working with Janelle, getting ready for Gearheads. It's gonna be a great show. Janelle's got the whole place laid out. It's gonna be safe. It's gonna be fun. And I just do what she tells me to do.
yep. The confirmation for the C-47 will be here at 8 a.m. So, and the Chinook is confirmed.
Yes, yes, we've got a great airport.
Dave, you flew that C-47 in the war, didn't you?
I can fly anywhere.
I'm
You have
good.
any comments?
No, sir.
David? Thank you. The commission member reports, commission chair reports. I don't get this chair very often, and I'm not going to let that go by. So I want to say two things. We get into situations that we have to deal with, and as residents of this island, the beauty of this island, and that we all care so much about the rural, the beauty of our open spaces and trees. We get into situations that we have to address safety issues here at the airport. It's non-negotiable. We would be derelict in our duties for many reasons if we didn't address safety issues. And one of the biggest issues that unfortunately we have to deal with at certain times are trees that impede the glide slope of our planes coming in. And we take that very, very serious. And we just got through with a tree cutting, and it was on the airport property, but it doesn't matter because we as residents get used to trees that block certain things, right? And when that's interrupted, it hurts, it's painful, it disrupts our lives, right? Because we all see and love trees on this island. And I just wanted to say that we all feel for that. We all understand, the anger and the frustration that the people that live in the areas and the people that live in the area of this tree cutting. We understand it and we get it. But unfortunately, it was something that had to be done. It was a safety issue, okay? We did research, as we do all the time, ways to do it. Topping trees, coming up with, like literally, when we talk about this stuff, nothing is off the table, right? Because we know, and because we all feel the same way, right? We all live here, right? And, but we have to make a decision that is for the safety of the lives of our pilots. And that is our number one objective. It's our number one. We are an airport. We have a commerce park to support this airport. We are not a commerce park that just happens to have an airport. We are an airport. We are bound by FAA, MDOT rules, regulations, and our own consciences of providing a safe environment for our pilots that are based here, that are transient here. So I know we're cleaning it up now, right? We're getting over there. But I just want to say that we get it, we empathize. It doesn't, I'm sure it's not gonna make anyone feel any better, but the decision made it a whole lot safer for our residents. Mr. Flarsky lives here, he's a pilot, he flies in here, okay? He's our neighbor. And a lot of people that fly here are our neighbors, right? And we needed to protect them and others. So I wanted to say that publicly, number one. The second thing that you guys always laugh at me, you know, because maybe you think I'm joking, but I've been here in this airport now, this is my 27th year. As you guys all know, I take this very serious. I put in a lot of hours and thought. I use my professional financial background, looking at the financials, common sense approach, working with the township boards, you know, to keep this airport out of the hands of the Groseal taxpayers. It's a large piece of property that can either be a benefit to the community or it could be a liability for the community. And for many years, going back those 25 plus years, in the beginning, this was a liability to the community. It wasn't a financial liability because there wasn't a time when there had a millage, but it was a liability because there was little value for the residents for this place. And all these years, it's transformed into a community asset. You just mentioned the race yesterday. We were a big part of it. We have the Township Hall here. We have Island Fest here. We have so many activities. We have a memorial garden that people come down to every day, right, to honor the veterans and the men and women that served here at the base. We have provided businesses for our residents, right? Pirates Cove. It was, you know, we took that very serious, and it's a beautiful facility. It's lit up nice at night. It adds to our quality of life here, right? The dog kennel coming in. All the services that we have here, we take very serious to provide a value to the community while running an airport, all right? And what does all that mean? To me, it means that I love you guys. You guys and gals that work with this over the years, you make it happen. It doesn't happen by accident. And it doesn't happen because of my involvement. I'm one vote of this, and you guys have no problem telling me no. Okay. But it's collectively this group. And I think that you got to hear it, right? And the people have to understand it, that this is a pretty incredible. Ron Moran, that chairs this, incredible job as a chair, incredible. Chris Manns, who's not here, incredible member. So publicly, while I have this chair, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for doing what you do for this airport, this Commerce Park, but more importantly, the township, okay, because it does matter. So with that, I have nothing else to say. So,
Thanks,
and
John.
with that,
Thank you.
we're going to move on to public comment, and we're going to limit it to 3 minutes.
Go.
Oh, no one's
Hands
up. So, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have motion by Mr. Nadu, supported by Mr. Loftus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. We are adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.
Wrap up a fiscal year.